What's up, guys? Vince right here. Welcome to Vince Talk. And yeah, let's talk about the news. Let's talk about something that's going on in today's world and pretty much, yeah, what's going on in today's day of certain things happening, especially here in America. It's been election day. I mean, it was election day. I mean, I don't know how long this election is, but currently, as I'm recording this, there is an election going on. There's votes and stuff like that. I believe the votes ended. There's some poll results. All I know is there's a red wave, and yeah, that's it. I don't know if it ended. I don't know what happened, but yeah, there's a lot of things going on within that kind of world of politics. That's for sure. Um, but yeah, so far there's I don't know. All I know is pretty much like one of these presidents are gonna be replacing Biden. So, I mean, I'm hoping for that. Let me tell you. But yeah, next thing is that I want to dive in a little bit into space news because there's gonna be a whole batch of gaming stuff that I'm gonna be talking about as the usual. Pretty much when it comes down to gaming, I tend to talk about it here and there, and it always goes pretty long to the point where there's times where I even make a separate Vince talk discussing that is particularly only about gaming. So before I get there, let's talk about space, because that's something I usually don't talk about much when it comes down to space news or things happening within space and stuff that I just want to really get out of my chest in terms of like, oh, this is happening, that is happening, and just like a whole batch of of different news mixed with space. But hey, I only have one each. So for this one, yeah, I just there's this YouTube channel called Dude Perfect. If you're familiar with this channel, it is it's about these five guys, I believe. Five, not five guys, the burger place, but five or six guys. I don't know. It's a bunch of dudes. Okay, at this point they're a bunch of dads, but they're dudes. Okay, and it's called Dude Perfect. So it's all of them doing trick shots. They even did like the craziest trick shots of like especially up in a skyscraper, and they have to shoot a basketball inside on a hoop, which is pretty much in the lower level of the building, like all the way down. They'll be in the skyscraper, like up there in the air, and they'll just be throwing the basketball all the way down, and pretty much that's kind of like their content. And right now, recently, they just actually got back from space. So they got back from, well, actually, one of them went to space. One of them went to the whole Blue Origin thing, and they usually do their space like launches and stuff like that. So one of them actually went up to space and just for a few seconds, because usually when it comes down to Blue Origin compared to like NASA or SpaceX, all these other space brands, this one just happens to, launch you to space for just a small while. And it's usually one of the biggest impacts when they send you up to space. They send you up there, and pretty much like, you're witnessing just like one of the most historic times of just like being up and just seeing the planet. And that's usually what it is. I talk about like other people that went to Blue Origin, pretty much famous celebrities and stuff like that, like the guy that played this Q from Star Wars, I believe, and also the news guy from Good Morning America. And they went to space, and pretty much this individual also like went to space from Dude Perfect, and I believe it's one of the first biggest YouTubers that went to space. So this could be like there's just many histories. I think Blue Origin did something like they sent the first ever like pansexual something to space. They send the youngest woman to space of the age of 29. So there's been history here and there in terms of like what these space programs can do, especially Blue Origin, owned by the guy that made Amazon. The Baldy Bezos. That's what I call him, Baldy Bezos. And yeah, just sent it up to space, and it was like the shortest. I don't know what it is. I feel like it could have been more emotional when I saw the video, but it was the only time I was watching Dude Perfect, because I usually don't watch a lot of their videos, and Dude Perfect happens to be kind of like the only time, especially when it comes down to that, them going to space. Like literally, I saw the video and I'm like, oh, it cannot be like a clickbait title at all. They literally went to space, and pretty much that happened because of how this future of space travel is beginning to be accessible, even though to me it's beginning to be a bit more boring, because it's like, okay, yeah, they're going to space, and pretty much I guess that's a good thing, because it's normalizing and stuff like that. There's beginning to be less viewers in the NASA live streams of like of live stream launches of them, like people going to the space station and coming back. it's beginning to be less because it's beginning to be more normalized, which says something about our generation, how we can be spoiled and we can be like oversatired, oversatired about certain things. I'm starting to get a feel of that when it comes down to certain let's reads I've been doing. I'm like, I gotta change things up a little bit. But yeah, moving on, let's get into some gaming stuff and let's talk about whatever this, whole Nintendo Direct, and also it's basically Nintendo Direct, the biggest one. And there's an extra, and there's some animation stuff that I have added. So yeah, we're just gonna continue that and talk about the Nintendo Direct, which happened like I guess 3 days ago or something like that. And this one was like, the Nintendo Indie World. So it's a bunch of indie games. And I'm going to tell you about those games by having this, attempt of remembering what those games are and what the mechanics and stuff like that. So starting off with the first one, this one is called Venba. It's basically it's about Indian food. I guess it's by a creator from Canada, but originally from India, and actually made a game about making Indian food. And Indian food is something for me. I wish it was like something more accessible, because here in where I live, especially within my life of being white and Asian, but like Indian food is not accessible within anywhere in my family, because I literally have no Indians in my family at all. Because if you see my face, of course, like I'm not gonna look Indian. I mean, to some people, I don't know where the whole like oh Vince, you look Indian. Like what? How is this? Anyways, but yeah, this one is because of like this game surrounding Indian food. It has certain foods that I cannot name because I don't know, and I don't know how this game would work for many people that are not familiar with Indian food. Sure enough, it would be different if it was like Japanese food, Mexican food, Italian food, stuff like that. But when it comes down to Indian food, it's kind of like a new mix that you're in a world of. There's many possibilities of making, and there's many games of like making different foods like Japanese foods and making burgers, simulators or whatever. But this one happens to be different in a very artistic way, and I'm kind of interested how many people are gonna play this game, especially ones that are also like me, like not familiar with Indian food. There was a phase. There was a phase a couple months ago where I had a phase of like just watching Indian people and Pakistan people working, people in that region, around Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, just working, work ethic content. I used to watch that a lot, especially how it started that way from watching Primitive Technology. If anybody remembers him, I hope Primitive Technology remembers himself, because my goodness, I have not seen that man ever. I don't know what is happening. He just disappeared, especially in a time where, around 2020 when people really needed that content to actually, because people are just like, oh man, we're all gonna freaking die. How we're gonna survive? We need Primitive. But there was a phase that was into that content a long time ago. Next up is like Goodbye World. Damn, I did not put a description for this game. Next one is Have a Nice Debt. Yeah, I did not listen. When I don't put a description of certain games, I don't know what to give you. Okay, I saw these, and it's usually a list of games that I'm into. So yeah, that's the best I can give. Aka. This is a Japanese. Well, it's a weird one. It's not a Japanese game. It's a game from France, but it's a Japanese theme, and I'm like, how does that match? I think I heard somewhere in geography class where France and Japan are just like besties or whatever. I have no idea if that's true, because I believe like most of the nations in Africa are more besties than France, because of like how like Gabon or Morocco or Algeria or Reunion. I think that's how they say it in France, right? Reunion Island and Haiti and stuff like that. But I never thought of like Japan. I don't know. Like all I can think about is like either the African nations or Canada, or I don't know if I know a little bit here and there. When it comes down to geography and studying other countries, I always like to study autonomies and autonomous zones, like like Francais Polynesia, or as it's called, French Polynesia, which I actually been to. It's like Black Lagoon Beach, and that was a beautiful. Like I literally went to France without going to Europe. I can just go there through the islands. And there was this debate with my cousins and also a bunch of people like, oh well, that's not even part of France. Still, okay, it's French island. All right, I don't know, like, but at the same time, this is a French game, but it's a Japanese theme, and I'm like, okay, okay, do you think, especially how and when I don't know what's up with France when it comes down to the gaming aspect or the community with surrounding when it comes to making games. I don't know if it started off from Ubisoft, but man, there's a lot of freaking like gaming, like anime creators that are from France. Like that, it's a pack of creativity. I don't know how they do it, but yeah, it's about a fox pepper grinder by what, a fox and a pepper grinder? Why did I put that? It's about a fox, and it's by okay, well, okay, yeah, a Japanese game from France about a fox. That's the best, and it looks cute. It looks cool. It looks very minimalist, in some ways. That's the best I can give you. Okay. Next is, of course, I messed this up. It's called Pepper Grinder by Devolver. Devolver Studios that made. Did they make Shovel Knight? I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but they make some cool games. And Devolver Studios made like Pepper Grinder, and it's basically drilling through levels. I don't know if it's like Mr. Driller, if anyone's old enough to know that what that game is, but yeah, that's sort of like the best aspect of giving you these details. When it comes to details and these certain announcements, I am not the best because I do not get paid when it comes down to, like, oh, so there's this game and I just put like a freaking novel about one indie game that we have not heard about. Like, I don't, like, no one's paying me to do that. Then again, I have that illusion where I'm like, one day I'm gonna work for Kind of Funny. One day I'm gonna join a gaming thing, but that's just. I'm a romance channel. I'm not really a gaming channel. I'm an anime channel where it's just like, books and all that. But gaming is always something that it's always been with me, and it's kind of like a big part, big a big thing, a big oh man, I don't know the words. A big hobby that is a part of me, something that is a part of me. I don't know why I'm trying to put the word big. It's a big thing because the majority of my time nowadays is spending with gaming. I feel like if I was more busy, then gaming wouldn't be like, an entity to spend my time with. It would be like, oh, I gotta pay tax and stuff like that. But I don't know. The pretty much it's gonna be more when I actually do one day move and actually have an accessible place to live stream. When it comes down to these gameplays, but there's also this other game called Coffee Talk. It's episode 2 of Coffee Talk. I never really heard of. I don't know. It's one of those chill games, I guess. But yeah, you get to do latte art and whatever. Just freaking Starbucks simulator, but with a lot of storytelling or something, talking dialogue and all that. Ani, pretty much. This is like a Japanese folktale game, and it has a good song to it, I believe. Yeah, Desta. This is another game. Pretty much it's called Desta. The memories between. Did I just okay yeah. It's a man. Like I just put my own like spin to my notes here. It's from the creators from Monument Valley, and it's a weird one because it's from the creators of that made this beautiful puzzle architect game. It kind of almost has that same feel, except that this one seems to be a dodgeball game with XCOM mechanics. I don't know how am I gonna best to explain that, but it looks interesting. It has like XCOM mechanics, probably like an certain strategy point, but this time with dodgeballs. That's a weird mix, but hey, it's kind of very well done. I believe that what is it? Throwdown City actually did well when it comes down to a dodgeball game. So adding that mechanic to any game actually does pretty well usually. But we gotta have to wait and see. Other than that, there's this other game. What is it called? A Space for the Unbound, and it's a game that is set in Indonesia, which is kind of good to see certain games that are not usually set around freaking Japan all the time. But when I saw it set in Indonesia, I'm like, oh, it's kind of like Japan, but except it's more humid and it's in the southern side and pretty much, I don't know. I just get that weird feeling like Man, it still feels like Japan. Like a lot of times, I guess that's what I felt like when going to Japan, Philippines. I'm like, well, it kind of feels like the same country, even though it's not. Okay, okay, calm down. All right. I hope my parents don't, hear this because they're like, oh, how dare you? Philippines is nothing like Japan. It's Asian countries. Okay, come on. I don't know. As a person that is Filipino, I'm sorry if I said that. Okay, I'd probably get smacked in the face for sure, and I'll smack myself. Okay, boom. Um, But A Space for the Unbound, it's an Indonesian supernatural 8-bit game about a town, maybe in real life. It sort of could be based in real life. I don't know. Maybe not. Next is oh man, this name, Dor Degane. Dor Degane, okay, Dordogene. Hey, freaking read that as you wish. Another French game, and it's a beautiful one. It's pretty much like about a mini about a mem. What the hell? Why did I put a mimi? It's about a oil painted game. It's oil painted, the visuals and everything, and it could be based also on a real town. I don't know what's up with games that are sort of based in real cities, but I'm here for it. There's also this other game called Botany. Okay, Botany Manor. That's the best I can read it. Okay, I believe there's certain webtoons that I read where it says botany, and I call it botany, and I think I got some comments like that's not how you freaking read it. I'm like, well, sorry, I'm a dumb American, so I'm just gotta call it the way I'm gonna call it. It's called botany, even though Batoni or Bethany, Botany. Do I have to say French? Okay, I don't know. Botany. Okay, botany. Okay, I think there's a way to say it. I know I'm saying it wrong. I get that feeling, but at the same time, botany. Okay, what? Okay, you gotta respect the botany. There, I'm gonna call it botany. Okay, the booty botany. Manor, first person puzzle game about a mansion garden or something like a big ass garden in a freaking mansion. I'm like, okay, well, the whole time when I was looking at the trailer for this game in the Nintendo Direct, I'm like, how much is the rent for this? This has to be at least 30 mil. Like a freaking manor. Like you can only imagine if it's a major, okay? Like a actual like full limited mansion where it's just like full spacious. Like we're talking about Elon Musk money. Man, I swear I'm just having those moments of just like finding a place to live. There are some prices, there are some good prices. I've been all over Zillow. I've been trying to find some new apartments and stuff like that, and it's not easy, okay? California in a nutshell. Um, and also being an adult. Once Upon a Jester, this is another game. I'm not a fan of the dialogue, but I mean, it's a weird one because this game itself is also like it's a game from a band called Bonnet Avant. Okay, that's how I don't know. That's how you say it. Okay, that's either French or Dutch, but it's a music group from the Netherlands. Okay, or as I call it, the Netherlands. Yeah, there. But yeah, it's from three guys that made a game that gave me some puppy. I mean, not puppy, puppet vibes. And it has like that. It has the talking points where let me tell you, it's the accent where it's like, what is happening? What is up with Netherlands? I'm always curious. Netherlands, the more I hear about it, the more I'm like, man, this is so Americanized. Okay, this is such an Americanized place. I don't know what it is. They are so good at English, but at the same time, they speak Dutch mostly, but at the same time, they speak English very well. Probably better than the British. I'm just saying. Okay, I offended European countries. I'm sorry. Okay, again, I'm a dumb American. Okay, but next up is Rogue Legacy 2, and this one looks like, of course I know Rogue Legacy 1, especially playing it in the PS Vita. Even though I don't own a PS Vita, but I played it, like a freaking demo, and I really like it. And this one is pretty much, I guess you can make your own characters or whatever. I don't know. It looks good. It looks like an actual freaking video game I'm playing. Okay, I know other games are just games, but this one just is the more gamiest game that I've seen. Okay, does that make sense? Everything is like so freaking real life and therapy, and man, can we just get some freaking dungeons or whatever? I'm sorry. That's why Elden Ring does so well. Okay, I'll stop. Blanc, I've been really curious. I saw this game and I was like, oh, hey, I remember this game. It's a black and white with about two animals working together. Okay, and it's funny because I just played. I was in the emulators, I was doing my thing with the ROMs, and I played a classic PS1 game called Bugs Bunny and Taz Time Busters, and it kind of almost feels like that same mechanic. And then again, Two Brothers, Brothers Tale, I believe it's called, one of the best games that involves like two people or one way or two way, one way. I forget what that other game is that this crazy Swedish person that actually made some noise at the Game Awards. And speaking of the Game Awards, it's coming soon. But yeah, like Blanc just really sort of reminds me that, not like, it's loony like freaking Looney Tunes because, I'm talking about Bugs Bunny and Taz, but it's sort of like, a very peaceful, very delectable snowy game. There's a lot of snow around, a lot of black and white. I'm curious to see more of this game. It looks nice, okay? I'm just, the mechanics itself, the story is something that is based, that is going to be something that is gonna be the base of that whole game. That is gonna definitely stretch out to maybe be game of the year of next year. Who knows? A little to the left is also is a puzzle. This is a weird one. I get with these freaking games where it's like so cozy, and I get it. People like those games, okay? People likes them cozy games. Here, listen to me, okay? I'm here for the challenges. I'm here for the realness. Even though, like, one of my kind of favorite games are usually action oriented puzzle platformers and Otome games. If I'm feeling spicy, and I want to make some content, I tend to play some dating games that are just, the right spot, that are spicy. I like games that are spicy. I like my spice. And what is up with these freaking games where it's like, we made this during quarantine and it's just, I get it. Okay, it's peaceful and whatever. But what kind of waste of time are you trying to make me freaking do? I know. I don't need to play the game. But at the same time, I'm a real, okay? I'm a real one. I give you that real opinions. I give you for real. Even though I'm usually optimistic in anything I watch because I'm like, wow, this is cool. And somebody says like, Vince, that is the worst movie of all time. I was like, well, it's cool to me. But when it comes down to the opinions, I'm different. But let me tell you, this game looks cool. It's nice. I guess it's cute. It's about a freaking, doing like solving puzzles. Like for example, like I'm looking at my fan, and I'm trying to solve puzzles by looking at my fan. I kid you not. That's literally what the game is. What the hell is like literally? Like, are you kidding me? We couldn't just got some new like a new Farside or new like Stardew Valley or something, but instead we just gotta have a game about oh, we're gonna solve puzzles by looking at these two toilet papers, and I guarantee you they might make it look good. They might make it look well. It could be something that I never thought I wanted, but at the same time, what is up with all these games that are just like the most mundane thing? People are just making the most mundane thing, and they're trying to. And I'm talking about mundane, like saying, like I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a podcast simulator. What kind of game would that be? Okay, just do a podcast in real life. Just talk. Okay, that's all you need to do. And especially if there was a game that was just basically about you sitting on your ass on bed. I guarantee you there will be a game about that. There will be the most laziest kind of mundane games. I'm not saying this game is lazy, but to me, it honestly is, okay? No one cares about my opinion, so I'm just going to say it is, okay? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to this couple. What does the cat have to do with anything? Okay, I'm sorry. It's literally like owning a cat simulator. And I don't know. Listen, I can't relate to that. I don't have pets. I never own a pet. Ever. And yeah, that's the best I can give. Like it's... And they make it during, quarantine, whatever. I just really want to just, I hope we just reach a point where whatever, like quarantine, whatever, we can just stop that. We can just drop it. We could just drop it right there, okay? Real world is back. The life, yeah, there's certain countries and stuff that is dealing with the you-know-who, with the you-know-who, and all that. But at the same time, we're back in reality, baby. You gotta work. You want to get your own house? Oh, you want to get a girlfriend, a boyfriend? Oh, you want to get money? Get your ass up. Go to work. What is wrong with you? Like, come on. Like, I'm just saying, okay? A lot of times I'm just so tired of being reminded about quarantine and pandemic and blah, 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 blah. It's like, get over yourself, okay? There's so many places out here in the country and stuff like, listen, I want to meet people. I want to see the world. And I'm trying to work hard with this YouTube thing so I know I can achieve that. And I hope you can achieve it. Listen, I know I'm going on a tirade right now. Oh, Vince is going full rant mode. But at the same time, I'm saying it with motivation. I'm saying it with motivation and telling you that, yo, get your ass up. You got to make things happen because, listen, none of us are, life can be short. I'm just saying. Life can be short. When I heard the whole thing about, especially Conroy, that, passed away, the voice for Batman, rest in peace, and, Takeoff, it really got to me, life is short. Life is short, and sometimes you really just gotta shut up and just move on. I'm sorry. Okay, this is not towards the person that made A Little to the Left, but I'm just on a tirade. Anyways, move on to the next game. Sports Story. That's a good game. Yeah, it's about sports. Next is gaming. Oh yeah, this is some gaming extra. So that's it for the freaking Nintendo Direct. I'm sorry if I ended out in a freaking tirade, but at the same time, I'm not sorry. I'm trying to tell you something, okay? Some of you kids. Okay, I'll stop. Gaming extra. Pretty much it's what is this? Oh yeah. So pretty much I heard in the news there was a freaking device. The whole VR. Yeah, you probably might not heard about it. Oculus VR. Someone made something like that, but instead of you actually taking it off and thinking it's gonna be a same old VR, someone literally made like a VR that's like sort of online. They freaking make a Nerve, like what is it? Like Nerve gadget or what? I forget what. Listen, I haven't watched Sword Art Online in for like 2 decades. It feels like, but someone made a device where if you wear this freaking Oculus device on your head, and if you lose, you also lose in real life. AKA, this thing can kill you. I kid you not. I'm not. No, look it up. Look it up. Real life Sword Art Online freaking Netgear. I believe that's what it's called. And yeah, it connects to your nerves. And pretty much it just stunts it like a microwave. I kid you not. It is bizarre. Okay, what is happening? I guess, someone really doesn't appreciate their life that much when you make a device like this. I'm just questioning, like, what is this? What is happening? Oh my god, it's just it's bananas. Someone literally made this, and how is this okay? How, like, come on, this guy got, like, there has to be something going on in court for this one. Let me tell you, we gotta take this to the judge. But yeah, that happened. Next up, let's go into animation news because anime is live. No, actually, it's a bunch of stuff that's not anime. But you know what I mean. It's just a bunch of cartoons, animation, all the same thing, even though it's not. Zootopia. Anyone into that? Listen, I'm not like AC Race Best, that's for sure, okay? So I'm not going to be the biggest Zootopia fan. I even forget the names. I said it. I forget the names. I forget the scenes. I forget everything. If I watch Zootopia right now, it would be like a new movie. But for those that are into, I guess you're a Zootopia-topian, that's what it's called. Yeah, there's like a new series for that. It's called Zootopia Plus, where it's 6 new episodes that is separated, talking stories about 6 different characters. Bada boom. And it pretty much looks nice. And I was looking at this, I was like, you know what, why not talk about this? Have a good time. Also, there's this YouTube channel called Convention Reviews by the man himself that made this all happen, Cody. And pretty much, he finally revitalized freaking Convention Reviews. The old crew is back, and I'm just so happy to see it all back, especially Cody himself, Drew, and all that. Saw the intro, and I just had to talk about Convention Reviews. I just got to give it a shout out. They're literally one of the fewest, when it comes down to reviewing conventions. He just did one when it comes down to vlogging and doing, I guess, maybe do a review soon, but did a vlog at Youmacon. And Youmacon is a convention where I'm just kind of curious to see what it is, I'm not familiar with Detroit. I keep, I'm so tired, why is it that, when it comes down to certain American cities, even if from ghetto areas, like, is Detroit worse than Oakland? Is Detroit worse than Los Angeles? Because those are the ghettos that I've been to. Is it worse than New York? Is it worse than Chicago? I know that Detroit has like a reputation of being dangerous. That's for sure. just like any American state. I can point one like randomly in the with my finger, like, oh, Fisher Lake, Ohio. Oh, that's a dangerous place. Yeah, no ish. Okay, yeah, of course, it's a freaking America. Okay, of course, everywhere is dangerous. All right, it's anywhere, but I know that when it comes to this particular place, I'm just curious. I actually want to go to Youmacon. I want to go to these kind of conventions. I said the same thing with MomoCon, New York Comic Con, also the main Comic Con in San Diego, Anime Expo. There are some dangerous places, but you gotta understand. Look at the community. Who's gonna mess with me in this community? Okay, knowing that I am the type of person, like, you can't mess with me. Okay, look, I got my chin up and everything. Like, I got my chain. You better watch it. But I'm just saying, okay, that ain't gonna happen to me. Okay, you ain't putting out hands on me for no reason. All right, and I'm not trying to be a tough guy, but I'm just like, even though I am, I already sound like it. I'm sorry, but this one, Youmacon, like, I'm just, I look at it, I'm like, it's basically the skyscrapers and just the overall atmosphere of Youmacon, where I'm like, yo, I want to check this out. It will be so dope. You know what I'm talking about? And yeah, it looks nice. But that's the best I can give you. But yeah, convention reviews is back, and I'm still waiting for the other videos. They were supposed to upload them, but I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But the fact that it's back, because it hasn't been around in 5 years, it's finally back. My goodness. Anyways, moving on. What is this? Oh yeah. Shout out to Ronald from Anime Star Productions. He just made a webtoon, and it's basically has two Fs. It's not really related to my genre. This is a romance catered field here. Especially when it comes to LGBT plus content. But yeah, Anime Star made a webtoon. I might check it out. I might read it. Why not? Just hook the boy up. He a real one. Shout out to Ronald from Anime Productions. And yeah, moving on. Oh yeah, this is sort of a big one. I want to go on a limb here real quick, okay? Even though I already, go on a limb many times, and whatever that means. Ash Ketchum. Let me tell you, okay, Pokemon. You know what Pokemon is like to me? You really want to know? Pokemon, if Pokemon was a person, he would be that separate cousin that I never talked to. And pretty much I just visit this certain town where I only see my cousin for, like, I don't know, like only like once in 2 years. That's what I feel like. That's my relationship with Pokemon. I'm like, oh, Pokemon. Okay, bye. I'm just not into Pokemon. I'm sorry. Pokemon ain't my thing. It ain't my thingy thing. If Pokemon maybe was like, like an LGBT, like certain content that is like, sort of related to what I love, okay, what I into, if you know what I mean. You saw the webtoons, you know what it is. If Pokemon was basically like new boyfriends, if that was the term of what it means, but instead it's like something that is so different. Even though I grow up with Pokemon, even though it's something that I've seen in my childhood many times, it's just like anything else, like Sonic and Mario and whatever. But for Pokemon, even though it's sort of like ranks as the highest compared to all of them, it's not my thing. It can be easily my thing. I'm saying it right now. It can easily be my thing, okay? I can remember when Logan, like, what is it, famous YouTuber Logan Paul was actually into, like, Pokemon, and, like, had a whole phase where he's spending, like, I kid you not, millions of dollars on freaking Pokemon cards because of a whole Pokemon card craze out there. I can tell you right now, if I was rich and like him, I probably would fall into that habit too. But at the same time, I know it's not for me. I know it's not a cheap hobby, because with all Pokemon cards, Pokemon games, Pokemon this and that, Nintendo know what they're doing, okay? They know what they're doing when it comes down to Pokemon. They're trying to freaking milk us. They're trying to milk every inch of my wallet. It ain't gonna happen, okay? You're not touching any inch of this letter of my wallet, because my wallet is letter, okay? That's the details, baby. It ain't happening, okay? Pokemon is just, it ain't my thing. I can express it in many ways, but yeah, that's just the truth. And I never thought that this would be the only day where it's like, you know what, Pokemon, let's have a talk. Let's hang out. I'll buy you dinner. Let's hang out, okay? You're my cousin. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Let me check on you. Let's hang out. Let's you and me. I'll pick you up at 7 p.m. Okay, we'll you go to my house. We'll eat some late dinner and play some video games. Why not? Okay, yeah, I'll pick you up. All right, I'll see you soon. But of course not but yeah, that's kind of what it feels like when I first saw like this episode of Pokemon that I never seen, by the way, and I haven't seen any episodes and yada yada. I am familiar with Alola. I think that's how you say his name, and also the girl that's basically known for, especially for having like being like of a dark character, and there's like some controversy, some pointless controversy surrounding it about race swapping or whatever. I don't know any of that. Okay, that's just the community. That's in Twitter. Okay, I'm in Twitter and I read it, and I saw that, and that was like 2 years ago or something. But yeah, Ash Ketchum is officially achieved something. Here's the thing. Now, no spoilers, please, and this is no spoilers to One Piece. One Piece in my adaptation is like that one cousin where I'm like, yo, let's hang out. I miss you, bro, already. But One Piece, if Luffy, Monkey D. Luffy, said what in the beginning of like the anime, in the beginning of the whole series, the whole entire One Piece, when it was started, literally said, I'm going to be king of the pirates. Stuff like that. I'm going to find the One Piece. And, as a review, like pretty much it's almost like that. Ash Ketchum basically being the Pokemon champion is an equivalent in a ways of like a One Piece of Luffy being king of the pirates. It could go as far as, Luffy actually now being married and having kids. It's kind of like that almost feel. And I saw that and I was like, well, man, it's for like, what is it, 25 years? Many people that followed Pokemon has been watching Ash Ketchum, all the way when, basically he was achieving to be the Pokemon master, but, the champion, basically. And now it's here. And it's kind of like people are talking about like, oh, this could be end of an era. And let me tell you, I am very familiar of the emotional impact of Pokemon, especially when it comes down to Ash or the whole Pokemon brand in itself, and also the people that is related to it, especially that one trailer that they did for like the anniversary for Pokemon. I kind of teared up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, wow, this brand, Pokemon as a whole, has been out here for such a long time, and it came a long way, and that is such a beautiful thing. Very inspiring because it inspires many people. Like they create something just like Pokemon, not like Pokemon, but it sort of is inspiring. It's inspiring to know that you make a series, a show that is turns into a video game, turns into a manga, turns into this and that, clothing, everything. And it's here. And pretty much this almost is set as like the ending of, of a long series that stretches like decades. And it's here. Pretty much Ash Ketchum just achieved something that he said he was gonna promise, and then there he is. Just like that, it's done. And where does it go from there? It's kind of like one of those story aspects, and I'm still a writer in heart, knowing that like when certain things starts, knowing where it comes from, what you've been through and stuff like that. That's why I love watching. I'm always like inspired seeing different animes, different books that has stretched for years, millennium, and pretty much still has been going on. Like I'm just curious to see like, especially like the ending of Family Guy, how Family Guy has been out for decades, and pretty much I've been watching it since like, like when I was a kid, when an Adult Swim, when my parents wasn't watching, catching me, and it was like it felt like one of those things where I was like, wow, these characters has been out for so long and for such a while, where it's like, look where they at now. It's a beautiful thing. It's a very heartwarming thing, that's for sure. And also last one in the news, no boyfriends. I don't know what happened. I don't know if pretty much if like Ray Refrainbow, the creator of Boyfriends, is ever gonna update like what happened. Literally, there was no update of like why there's no boyfriends. But just to let you know, there's no boyfriends. There's no boyfriends for I don't know how long. But that gives it way for different other webtoons to shine their lights, because boyfriends can't take it all. someone has to take it as well. And that's what I feel the same thing for Ash Ketchum. I feel like, there's someone else gonna take his place and be like, you know what, I'm gonna be. Or maybe Ash Ketchum maybe Pokemon itself, the creators of Pokemon, should actually freaking show adult Ash Ketchum. Like at this point, Ash is probably like 40 years old. Okay, I'm being serious. Like he's probably old enough to actually have kids and actually have like a daughter or son that can be the new Pokemon master. I don't know. I'm just saying. Other than that, thank you guys for watching or listening to my rants and just listening to a character named Vince that likes to ramble and blah 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 and just gives you all the knowledge of the world. Other than that, I'll see you when I see you. Stay safe. One love. Peace.